Business English is all about communication, and one of the most modern methods of communication is the tele-video conference. Now I'd like to give you just a few tips to finish about how to handle your tele-video conference. Firstly, make sure your technical team get into the conference room to set everything up well in advance. There's nothing worse than wasting time with the people on the other side while you're trying to test if there is a line, if there is a connection, if everybody can hear and see each other. Bear in mind, this is tip number 2, that cameras do not always appreciate loud colours, stripes, spots, or anything that can make the picture look hazy. So if you know that you have a tele-video conference on a particular day, try to wear a quiet colour and a plain colour so that it won't make the picture look fuzzy. Also, while you're looking into the camera, have a quick look and see what's happening behind you. If you're sitting in front of a window, close it, or close the curtain, or close the shutter. You don't want the people in New York or Tokyo to see your parking lot, or 2 people arguing outside your window, or the lady wheeling the tea trolley past when you are having your conference. So be aware of what the background is. Once the conference has started, don't whisper to each other. A lot of the microphones these days are very sensitive, and it creates a lot of background noise for the people on the other side. So shifting cups and pieces of paper and whispering to each other is a big distraction. So please try to avoid doing that. Don't forget to turn your mobile phones off. And of course, some of the more advanced equipment has a mute button for the microphone, so that if you want to confer, you tell the other side that you're going offline for a second, you put the mute button on, and then you can talk without them being involved, but don't forget to turn it back on again. Speak to the microphone and speak to the camera, but try to be as natural as you can. You don't have to shout, and try to avoid looking at the screen because you are looking at you and you're not looking at them. Wait for them to reply. Sometimes there's a time gap. I'm sure you've seen also on TV when a news reporter is in another country, there's a time gap between the TV reporter in this country and the TV reporter in the other country replying to the question. So give them time to react, give them time to hear the question, and then answer you. Don't interrupt. Because of the time gap, this can be very frustrating. There's a whole mess. Nobody remembers who is saying what. So try to avoid interrupting. If you have a question, wait until they've finished, wait until you've heard everything, and then make your comment. Finally, when you are speaking to somebody specifically on the other side, say who you are speaking to, so they will know that they should pay particular attention to what you're saying. By the way, it's very useful when you start for everybody to introduce themselves. So number 1, everybody will know who they are facing. And number 2, it's also a kind of sound test. So before you start, you can see if there is anybody out of camera or out of the range of the microphone. I'm sure you've all had plenty of experience of that. If you haven't, then here are some useful tips for you for your video telephone conferences. And that finishes this chapter.